Okay, so yeah, this is Lisa, the Painful RPG. Came out in 2015, I think. And it's basically like a dark take on the Earthbound type of games. The SNES era, it has a lot of references and all that stuff. And yeah, right now I'm basically just mashing through the intro. Like I said, it has like a 7-minute intro, I think, which is the downside to this run, but yeah. Overall, this run is basically mostly about reacting to RNG and resource management. So yeah, here you can see our protagonist getting beat up. And yeah, he's called Brett. These are his friends. They're actually gonna show up later. And so are the guys who just beat him up.
Well,
And
just 1 second. Since you said it's Earthbound, right? It's also going to be like follow me, follow me. Okay.
no, luckily not. But yeah, so this is the past right now. Brad is a kid. In the main game, he's going to be an adult. And yeah, you can see we just walked through a seemingly nice-looking neighborhood. And now we're gonna arrive at his house, which is much less nice-looking. And his dad, who's even less nice-looking. Yeah, this game is, like I said, it's kind of dark. Also has a lot of dark humor, actually. So if you like that, it's good. Okay, so that's basically the ending of the past part. And now we're gonna jump ahead to an apocalyptic future where no women are alive, as long as everybody knows. It's kind of a running gag that this is never really explained. They say it's at some point there was a white flash and all the women died.
Oh my god, I died?
Apparently, yeah.
Rip me! No!
And yeah, so there are just men left, and obviously
How
They
do
think-
you survive?
apparently not at all. Like the world is dying, basically. That's what they all think. But now Brad, I actually don't know how long this would have been going on here. But Brad finds a baby, which obviously means there has to be a woman around somewhere. Probably.
Maybe the you know how they used to say that the birds give the babies, so it was like a bird that that just threw it down on Earth.
Might be. But even if that was the case, I guess they got kind of lucky, if you want to call it that, because this baby actually does turn out to be a girl. Which is obviously, yeah, either good or bad. Because she's, as far as everyone knows, she's the only girl alive right now. And Brad, well, actually, as you could see, his father was, yeah, exactly. His father was kind of abusive, and he actually had a sister that committed suicide. And yeah, so basically Brad himself feels kind of guilty about that. And so what he wants to do is just protect this girl and not tell anyone that she's alive or where she is. But we're gonna see that maybe he's not the best person to do that. So this is now like 3-minute intro, so I guess I can talk about the run a bit and the history of the run, if you want to call it that. These days the community is pretty much dead, to be honest. Like I'm basically the only one running this game right now. But when I started about, I think a little bit over a year ago, it was like about 5 active runners, so obviously it was never huge. I mean, this game is kind of obscure, but it did have somewhat of a community. When I started running it, I think Dronux had the world record, and then shortly after that, Studio, he changed the route, which I'm going to talk about a bit later, and got the world record, and he actually did submit it to SGDQ, I think, but it didn't get accepted, unfortunately. And shortly after that, DT got the world record, and then I did. And yeah, I'm going to talk, like, the route evolved a little bit, obviously. I'm going to talk a bit about who found what glitches. I hope I will be correct about that, because I'm actually not 100% sure about all of that. But yeah, what I mostly did to optimize this run was optimal resource management. Because one thing I definitely have to talk about is that this game does have permadeath, which means that either through some in-game events or in fights, your team members can permanently die. They're just removed from the game. And obviously for a run, this is pretty dangerous, because we are going to have a very specific party setup, and if one of them dies at the wrong point of the game, it's basically just a reload, because we can't really deal with it.
That's like one happens. Big giant rip in that case.
Yeah, well, I'm saving a lot, so. But that's actually another point, because the pain mode incentive was met. I did see that yesterday, which means we can only use each save point once. In normal mode, you can use every save point as much as you want, but we are only going to be able to use every save once, which obviously means I'm kind of limited in my saves, and I had to do quite a bit of planning to do it optimally, but there will be some stretches without saving. And if a death happens during those points, it's bad. But that's why I'm using my items to make the dangerous fights as short as possible. I'm going to use all my damage items on the fights that have the most danger of inflicting permadeath. And yeah, so pain mode does that. It also adds a few enemies, most of which are more dangerous than the enemies in normal mode, because they have a higher risk of inflicting permadeath. So now the intro is almost over. You can see Brad is kind of drugged out. I mean, you saw how Buddy, which is the name of the girl, grew up. Obviously it wasn't all that good. Brad is a drug addict, addicted to joy, which is a drug that is actually an in-game item. Okay, so I'm going to turn off animations and use joy and fight this dog. You can see joy. You can use joy to, first of all, I think it raises your strength. And it makes every hit a guaranteed crit. And it also makes it a guaranteed hit, so if an attack, for example, only has an 80% hit chance, it will definitely hit. Picking up some empty bottles here. Another thing about this game, which is kind of mean, is that if you walk off an edge, like here, it's just a game over. You fall down, you die, game over. So the game does kind of like to mess with you, in a way. Which is interesting. What you also might have noticed during that fight is that I was like inputting buttons. When I fought with Brett, it was like WASD. I just mashed randomly here because right now Brett does not have any attacks. But after that fight he did learn an attack, and he's going to learn more. And basically I have to input certain combos to activate certain attacks that are more powerful than just mashing. The party member we just got here, Terry Hinz, he really likes to call himself a strong warrior, but he's actually pretty pathetic. If you get him to max level, he becomes, like, he gets a really powerful attack, I think the most powerful attack in the game, but we won't do that because we don't have time for that. But we do actually have some use for him, because he does have an attack which inflicts the pissed status, which makes the enemy, which makes it possible for the enemy to hit themselves. Like, it just makes them randomly hit a target, which can include themselves.
Did you just say fist?
No, pissed.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, so we're going to try. Going to try to use that to get through some tough enemies with a pretty weak team, honestly. Because at some point in the game, quite early, we're going to lose our entire team, or at least we're going to have to there's the risk of losing them, and we're gonna get better party members later anyway, so we just want to get through the early part of the game with some weak party members as quickly as possible. And so that's basically our first order of business, recruiting some party members. I'm being kind of wasteful with my joy here, which is a very valuable item, but I can be because I'm just about to lose all my stuff. So it doesn't matter how many items I lose.
This
Okay.
is very caveman-y.
Might be, I've actually never played that game, to be honest.
No, I mean, as in feeling like caveman-ish.
Oh yeah, it's very like macho, testosterone, I don't know, because it's just guys,
like,
so-
I'm a caveman, I will do whatever I want.
pretty much. You might recognize these guys. These guys were the guys that beat up Brad in the very beginning of the game. They're actually still alive. And here their boss arrives on his noble steed and gives us an ultimatum. He either kills Terry or takes all of our stuff. And we're going to choose to lose all of our stuff. Because we still need Terry and we don't want to recruit other party members. Because that would take too much time. In the old route, I think they actually lost Terry. That was before I started running the game. Like they just gave up Terry and picked up some other party members. But I think it was Studio who created this new route, which is very RNG heavy, honestly. But it's just much faster, and usually you can deal with the RNG. So, first of all, we need to pick up 2 more party members to have a full party of 4. And for that we need some money, because the easiest party members to recruit are the ones that you just pay. All the other party members are either like you have to do more stuff for them, or you have to listen to them talk for a really long time. So it's basically what we're gonna do now. In the beginning our movement is kind of slow because we don't have the bike yet, which is going to let us move quite a bit faster, but whoops, we just don't have it yet. And it's behind a really strong enemy, so I'm buying some potato liquor from this guy because I can trade it in for a pretty ridiculous amount of magazines. Magazines are the currency in this world, because we can give them to this guy who keeps talking about drunkermania and might look a little bit like a wrestler, you know. Yeah, there are a lot of references like that in this game. There's actually an entire side story dedicated to wrestling, so if you're into that. That's actually one of the things that kind of got me interested in this run, because there's a ton of optional content in this game. Like, I think there are 3 mandatory party members, and in total there are 30, so yeah, you can just pick up tons of optional party members and make your own party, and obviously that means there's quite a bit of planning that went into this route to figure out who's the optimal party. And we're still not sure.
Party?
Yeah, what? Am I saying it weirdly? I don't know. Tech is confusing me. That little scene right there was actually not necessary, but he gives us some joy, which is a really valuable item. So it was definitely worth it. And to this guy we're going to sell these 2 cigarettes we found, because you can sell them for a lot of money. And they're not really useful to us. I actually forgot what they do even. I think they might restore MP.
I mean, I'm just saying, like, if we have a world with no women or anything like that, maybe we should donate to save some children and make some
Yeah.
more population to the world.
Some of those children will probably grow up to be women, so
Yeah, I mean,
If you
it's
don't want this
50-50
to
chance
happen.
that a child will be a girl, so
yeah.
save the children, and you have a chance to get more girls.
So we're just picking up some more items. This guy gives us perfume, which is our res item, so basically our Phoenix down. And we picked up some empty bottles, which we can fill with something later. I'm going to talk about it when it comes to that. And picked up a healing item just for safety. And now we're going to buy these two party members, Rage and Olan. And now we have our first full party. This is a Joy Mutant, and basically all of the Joy Mutants have a chance of inflicting permadeath. And this one does too, but it's a very low chance. Oh, that sucks. That's really bad, actually. This might take a little longer than usual then. Okay. It's important that Brad stays alive to get that XP, because he's important for the next fight.
Are we going to see more girls in this game later, or is it just gonna be the baby?
It's just the one. I mean, she's not a baby anymore, but...
God
What?
damn it, sorry.
Okay, so now the real RNG part of the run starts. This might take a couple of tries. I'm actually going to heal Brad before all of this. Because now, in this field, we have random encounters with snakes, which are quite strong. Like, you're not supposed to go here right away, actually. It's a pretty dangerous area, because we can't really run from these snakes very well. And they hit quite hard. You can fight this guy, but it's not really worth it, because he's quite tough. In normal mode, there's actually another guy there, which you do fight in the run. Because, like, he's way easier, but he gives more XP for some reason. So yeah, pain mode is just harder, basically. Okay, I'm going to have to risk resting here. But whenever you rest, there's a risk that some of your guys get taken away, which we can't deal with. Poisoned. I'm just gonna deal with it, I think. Although that might be bad. So this is a very dangerous enemy. And we're just gonna hope that Terry inflicts a status. At least she didn't attack. Whoops. Okay, at least crying was inflicted, which makes her more likely to miss. But ideally we would want the pissed status. It's not happening. Okay. At least she's not really attacking. Okay, there it is. Okay, she
I
crit
wonder what the
herself.
creator was thinking when they like made that design for that boss.
A lot of bosses look like that, actually, because they're Joy Mutants and like they just turn into huge mounds of flesh, basically.
Like huge blobs.
Yeah, basically. So now we have the bike. But the RNG is still not quite over because we might not get back. Because we still have to get to these random encounters. But we actually have a much better chance of running from them now. Because we're higher level. Ow. This is not looking too good. I don't think I have any healing items. So now we just gotta pray. Oh. Nope. Okay. Yeah, that actually is fairly likely to happen. It's really unfortunate that it happened on the way back, because we got through the fight. Now we're gonna have to repeat it. But even if you try this a couple of times, it's still much faster than anything else, basically, so... yeah, you just have to take the risk. What you just saw there, that red flash, was the withdrawal status, which is everyone that you use joy on has, like, if you don't use joy on them for a while. Okay, that's actually nothing. If you don't use joy on them for a while, they might get the withdrawal status, which makes them very weak. Yeah, like there are some of these non-events where, like, actually nothing really happens to your party. At least we didn't get poisoned this time, so that's a little better. Okay, Terry is just missing with his status. Oops. Which is really unfortunate. Because that's kind of what we're relying on here. Okay, there it is. Both, actually. Problem is that Brad is scared. Okay, not anymore. Okay, that's what we want. We're quitting ourselves. That can make the fight very fast, but it's purely RNG. So this actually went quite a bit better than the last time, but we still have to get back. Resting is actually not worth it. You might be running while I'm not resting, but the risk that you're like getting an event like losing a party member or losing items is just not worth it. It's too likely to happen. Okay, it's looking pretty good this time. Yeah. So you can see how RNG it is. It looks pretty easy this time. And now we're actually gonna rest here, and this spot is fairly safe. There's one bad event that can happen, which is that you get knocked over the head outside of the tent, and there it is. Which is going to lower our attack, or actually SP and luck, I think. But that's not really... that's not gonna matter too much for the run, actually. Whoops. This guy has great music, but unfortunately we can just run from him. Which is kind of strange, but... in general, this game has a great soundtrack, though. Later on, we're gonna get to hear a bit more of some other great songs. I'm actually really sad that we have to skip through that one. Of that fight that was just there, because that's like one of my favorite songs in the game. Oh yeah, so now we got the bike, which obviously lets us move a lot faster. It also lets us drop from more height without taking damage. And yeah, we can jump over gaps. Also, this is the groin kicker, and he just kicked us in the groin. But we're gonna get some payback right here. Gives quite a bit of XP, so it's worth it. Now we're gonna fight another boss, which is similar to the boss we just fought. It hits very hard, and we're gonna try to rely on the pissed status by Terry to get through it. Actually, this is a two-part boss, basically. Because these guys, obviously, they have very fancy hair. And they're not pleased that we don't have any hair at all. So they're going to try to kill us. So it's a two-part boss. It's these guys, all three of them, and their hair. And the hair is what we have to worry about. As you can see, it hits extremely hard. So we're gonna try to debuff the hair and just hit the body. Okay, both statuses. Very good. Nice. That's really good, because that can also take a couple of tries. And this guy, they actually, like, everyone told us that they had a girl. They had the girl, which we thought was Buddy, obviously, but apparently it's just a middle-aged man with a mustache, so don't know what happened there. We can recruit him, or we have to recruit him actually. And he's going to give us the truck, which unlocks the second area, which we can go to now. And has a pretty strong attack. Just picking up some more magazines. I'm avoiding fights with these guys, I kind of forgot to mention that, because it's just not worth it. It just takes too long, so... So we're gonna pick up some more stuff. Oh, I missed that bottle. I think I'm gonna go back and pick it up. Actually, I might just pick up this one. And we're going to pump some water here, which is... we can either get normal water or dirty water, and... Okay, that's...
So
2 and 2.
You're in the, like, caveman era, and now you have a bike with wheels.
Yeah.
How does that work? Did you
this is
finally
actually
invent the wheel?
This is the future, actually, so... We have a truck now, too, so...
It still looks like a caveman era.
Yeah, they...
Oh,
See what happens without women, right? Come on. Apparently this is what a world without women would look like. Whoops. So yeah, we have a new party member, which is actually going to be useful for just one fight, basically. And I did kind of forget to talk about the water. We got 2 bottles of clean water and 2 bottles of dirty water. the clean water can be sold for quite a good amount, and the dirty water is going to be useful at the very last boss actually. This resting spot is completely safe for some reason. I don't know if it's just some oversight, but nothing can happen here. It's the only spot in the game like that. This is actually the only time we're using Joy on Farley instead of Brad. Oh, that's bad. Because... I'm gonna use this. Because he has this truck slam, which is actually very powerful. Especially if it crits. And the reason that it's so powerful is that it has a 40% hit chance, so it's way more likely to miss than it is to hit actually. But if we have Joy, if you remember, our hit chance goes up to 100%. So there are guaranteed hits and guaranteed crits, which is going to make this fight quite easy, which is actually pretty difficult otherwise. And this is Percy, who's trying to make a movement right now. And we're going to save him from this spider, which he is so thankful for that he will join our party. And now there's going to be a bit of a story segment. Basically, we're almost done with our original party. Like I told you, we're just trying to get through this first part of the game with a pretty weak party. And it's almost over. It relies pretty much completely RNG. And the RNG is not quite over. Actually, maybe the biggest source of RNG is about to come. But after that, RNG is going to play much less of a role. By the way, there will be some flashing colors on the screen in a second, so if that bothers you, you might want to look away for a bit. This is, oh yeah, if you remember, this is one of Brad's friends from the beginning, and it actually turns out that he apparently doesn't agree with Brad that they should keep Buddy, the girl, her existence a secret, because he thinks humanity should not just die out. But obviously, Brad disagrees. Here you can see that Brad has a bit of a temperament, I would say.
What a nice friendship you have there.
Yeah. Well. Yeah, Brad is kind of a dick sometimes. And now we're going to get another ultimatum. Which is, this guy is going to... I think at this point he asks us to... Either he's going to take my arm, or he's going to kill him. And, like I said, we're done with this party, so he has to die, unfortunately. I'm going to heal this guy. And this always happens to the party member in the second spot, which is why I specifically put him in the second spot earlier. Because he's the one we can most afford to lose. And right now, like, I have to press enter to jump, but if I press enter on one of those stones, I fall off. So... okay, that's it. And this is our first encounter with Rando, who's the guy with the mask there. And he's the guy that apparently has Buddy, as far as we know. But it actually turns out, well, if you ignore the car with all the dead bodies inside, turns out he's somewhat of a nice guy, at least to us. Because we hit him with a motorcycle and he actually apologizes to us and gives us Rando rations, which is like the most powerful healing item in the game. It restores all your HP and all your MP. But these guys don't quite agree. So they're gonna try to kill us. But Fardy still has Joy on him, so hopefully he doesn't die here. Close. And you can see how powerful it is. One of them evaded actually, that's annoying. So that's another reason why we joy 40 there, because it makes this fight very easy. And it's a good thing that I healed him, because he would have died otherwise. By the way, if I use this... Actually, I'm going to talk about this a bit later, because right now we're going to have to play Russian roulette, which is exactly as RNG as it sounds. We have to choose a party member and basically just mash through it. Okay, very lucky. But we're gonna have to win 3 rounds. Which means we can potentially lose our entire party. If we lose all of them, it's game over. And we're going to want to keep Percy, because we still need him for our party. Everyone else can die. So basically we get 4 chances and have to win 3 rounds. I'm not entirely sure what this depends on, but I think it actually depends on their in-game luck stat as well. A bit at least. But yeah, you can get stuck here for quite a while. But it's looking pretty good actually. Yeah, nice. That was really fast. Because that can take a couple of tries, definitely. It also gives us some max. I have 3 empty bottles. I need 4, so I'm going to pick up 1 more right here. And right now there's another little story segment. These are these Salvation Rangers. Also, no copyright infringement here. And it looks like this guy, the pink one, is not really up for it. We could jump in, but don't have time for that. You can actually recruit that guy. But we won't do that this run. Oh, why am I off my bike? What did I do? Oops. So what I wanted to explain earlier is this bug. Like you can see, I still have the bike speed, but I'm not on my bike anymore actually. And I'm moving down ropes, up and down ropes a lot faster, which is, if you transition off a rope onto solid ground and you press the shift key, which puts you off your bike, like during that, this bug occurs, which lets you run up ropes basically. So whenever you're gonna have to climb a lot of ropes, this is a lot faster than just staying on the bike. On the bike. Yeah, I'm kind of sick. You can probably hear it. And now that we have lost our party, I'm gonna have to recruit a new one. Going to sell these bottles of water, cigarette, and then this horse drug. No, wait, this is better. And we buy these playing cards and a weird doll. And we trade the weird doll in at this guy, and he gives us some whiskey. Yeah, but like if I were to fall off the edge anywhere here, it would just be a game over, by the way, so you have to be pretty careful that you don't do that. That right there was Jack. He joined us because we got him his playing cards back. And we're going to also recruit Birdie, who's this guy right here, by giving him whiskey. And this party is going to heavily depend on fire damage, because Birdie has a fire debuff. He can spit gasoline on enemies. I'm just gonna make the right order here. And then they are a lot more vulnerable to fire damage. And we now have a party where every party member has fire damage. And also we're going to be picking up some items that do AoE fire damage, so those are going to be very valuable because they do a lot of damage. And we're mainly going to use that to make the most dangerous fights a lot shorter. Again, I have to evade these guys so I don't fight them, because it's pointless. This guy is really hard to avoid. Okay. Yeah, so I have to get back on my bike here because I can't jump gaps if I'm like in the glitched state. Where I'm kind of on my bike, but not really. Whoops, no. I'm going to unequip this old sock and equip it on him. And I do that because the old sock is an item that gives agility. So it decides the order of the characters. And we don't want Percy to be faster than Birdie, because Birdie is the one that applies the fire debuff. And Percy has a fire attack, so obviously in any given turn we would want the fire debuff to apply it first, and then the fire damage. So we're going to purposefully make Percy slower than Birdie. Jack, on the other hand, is so fast that he will always go first, so can't do that for him. Here we just have to spam enter, which can get pretty exhausting. And now we're gonna have to fight Horace. Who's this guy? Whose dream it always was to become a bulldozer driver, like his granddad. But his granddad didn't really care. Then he got his diploma. But it turns out it actually said Morris Dinkle on it. Which was apparently another guy. Then when it was finally time to save his wife with his bulldozer, he failed. And his priest tells him he could have saved his wife if he was just a little better at bulldozer driving. Then his granddad shows up to tell him that he sucks. Such is the life of Horace Finkel. So now we're gonna use our fire setup, which should make this fight pretty quick. And Birdie actually uses another resource than all the other characters, which is TP instead of MP. And TP is a stat that you start out with a mostly random amount at the start of the fight, and you can't restore it, so you can't make sure that you start with a certain amount, it's just random. And the fire debuff takes 10 TP, so it's actually quite important whether we start with 10 or less, because if we start with 10 we can apply the fire debuff right away. If we don't, then we have to wait until the second turn. I just used some empty bottles to pick up TNT, to pick up diesel firebombs, and we also picked up TNT. We need the TNT to explode this, just to get into this area, because we have to, for story reasons. And the TNT and diesel firebombs are both fire damage items, which means they do AoE damage, they damage everyone, and they do a ton of damage. And yeah, I did a lot of experimenting to figure out where to best use these items, because they are extremely valuable. And you mainly use them to make the hardest fights shorter, the most risky fights. Yeah, this is the area of Wally, which is, well, again, might be a reference, maybe you recognize it. These guys basically pray to him like a god, and if they do, he gives them burgers. So that makes him like a god to them.
Like a burger god?
Exactly. Unfortunately, the burger god left us here at ESA, I think. I'm going to already use the TNT here. These guys can be pretty tough, yeah. Okay, that was okay. 2 guys died, so they missed out on XP, which is not optimal, but I think we can deal with it. I hope I can rest them. Barely. That's actually pretty bad to have no perfume left at this point already. Okay. There's an extremely low chance of not being able to run from these guys, so that was kind of annoying. And we're actually coming up on 2 more dangerous fights. First of all, this guy, who's Little Nuggy, who's a mascot for Wally. And he can inflict permadeath. Although he's still not too likely to do it, but it can happen. And I would have to reload at this point because it's way too early. You might notice that I'm actually not using a fire attack with Brad yet, which is... Oh, that's bad. Almost everyone is scared. Because as long as he's droid, it's actually still better to use another attack. Because it just still does more damage, because the fireball actually can't crit at this point. At least Brad's fireball can't. Which will actually change later on in the run, but right now it can't. So that was pretty important that we got through that without dying, because I would have had to reload from quite a while ago. But there's gonna be another pretty difficult fight against Wally. So this is basically a 3-phase fight. Okay, we started with less than 10 TP on Birdie, which is unfortunate. Oh. Oh, I can't revive him actually. And here we're going to actually use our first diesel firebomb, because this guy is dangerous. And the problem with this guy is that every time he changes his face like this, maybe you notice his mask breaking a little bit, the fire debuff actually drops off and you have to reapply it, which is quite annoying. And in this last phase, he can permakill, but only in this last phase. It's actually quite annoying that Jack died, because I don't think I can revive him. No. You have to wait for this guy, which is really annoying. Again, we're just avoiding fights. Ah, what he's trying to.
I mean, so far we haven't saved a children or child for a while. Maybe we should have some donations.
Yeah, sure. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm just waiting for them to drop in.
Oh, okay. Okay, so there's not gonna be another little story segment here. And we actually find Buddy, but it turns out she actually doesn't want to come with us. And then we get knocked over the head again. And he forces us to take some joy, which Brad is addicted to. And what I should also mention, I guess, is that Brad heard that another friend of his apparently had Buddy at some point. One of the guys which we saw at the beginning. And now he's in a drug dream, I guess. I'm fine on health. And yeah, this is his mental image of that guy. So obviously, maybe you can figure out what Brad feels threatened by right now, I guess, if you want to call it that. This fight is also somewhat dangerous, because it's the only fight, like the only solo fight in the game, basically. Oh, he keeps damaging us, which is not good. But at least he hasn't inflicted the weird status on us yet, which he can do, and which lowers our damage, so it would make this fight quite a bit longer. Yeah, that actually went well. I think I'm actually gonna have to do something kind of safe, which is I'm going to go back to this safe resting spot from all the way after area 1, just because there's somewhat of a tough fight coming up, and I can't save, and I can't rest Jack otherwise. That was actually kind of unlucky overall. The fact that I don't have any perfume anymore. Yeah, this, like I said, this is the only resting spot that is safe in the game. It might just be developer oversight, like I have no idea why this one would be safe. Whoops. And as you can see, it's our old friends again. From the very beginning. And this guy, the leader, is gonna ride off again, unfortunately, but at least we can get revenge on the rest. And this is the end of Area 2, by the way. There are 3 total areas in this game. Basically crossroads, if you will. And
why so many nipples in this game?
That's a good question. Ah, made a mistake. Yeah, so we're gonna use another TNT here because this fight is quite difficult. And if we use oil up on someone and use TNT, it's almost a guaranteed kill. Because it's so powerful. At least on like minor enemies, not bosses. It's really good that I didn't die in that fight. I mean, I went safe by resting before, but I would have had to reload from a long time ago. This guy is a pain mod exclusive, actually.
I'm sorry, I don't know much about the lore. You will have to ask him about that.
What?
They asked me to tell about the lore of the game, but oh, this boss doesn't have nipples. I'm surprised.
This one doesn't, no.
First boss without nipples. Good job, big game.
This is actually where the wrestling side quest happens. And it's actually pro wrestling, like you have to intentionally throw your first match to get into the club. And this is Sticky, our old friend, who apparently had Buddy at some point. And as we do with all of our old friends, we're gonna kill him. You can actually choose to spare him at this point, but that just means that he will come back later, and he will just be another additional fight. So in a speedrun, we do this. And it's time for more ultimatums. And speaking of nipples, this guy threatens to either kill our entire party or cut off her nipple. And because this is a speedrun, we're going to choose the nipple, because it actually has no...
Is that the girl that we had from the beginning?
Yes.
So now she's actually a hostage.
Yes. She's basically a hostage of someone the entire game. It changes who she's a hostage of, but she is the protagonist of the second game. Lisa the Joyful, which I also run, by the way, which is an interesting run. And in that game she basically gets revenge on everyone and kills like all of the other important people, so at least there's some payback there. Right there we actually lost our arm, which decreases our defense, our offense, basically everything, and removes some moves from our moveset. But on the plus side, our fireball can actually crit now. And again, I don't know if that's just developer oversight. I'm actually gonna heal here. Yeah, so our fireball can crit now, so it's a lot better for Brad. Whoa, wow, that was really good.
The nipples are back in action.
Yeah, of course. And again, we're just avoiding some enemies as best as we can. Whoops. So this is the third area, as I said. And our mission for this area is basically to get a sail, some wood and tools, so that the guy that met at the beginning of this area can build us a boat to take us to the island where Buddy is being held. Again, we're gonna use 2 diesel firebombs here to make this fight a lot shorter, because it's a very dangerous fight. So yeah, a lot of these fights are gonna look pretty easy, but if you don't use these items on them, they are actually really tough. That's why I use these items like that to make specifically these fights a lot shorter, because otherwise they can just force a reload. Especially if they inflict permadeath, which at this point is basically every enemy. Every boss enemy can inflict permadeath. Which at this point I would actually just deal with, I think. Oops. Instead of reloading. Unless it's Birdie, our debuffer. Because he's the most valuable party member. And we're gonna buy an item for Brad. Which is just gonna make his attacks hit a little harder. Which is important for the end of the game. because then we're gonna have to fight with Brett solo quite a bit. And coming up is actually one of the most dangerous enemies when it comes to permadeath. And in normal mode, this is actually not a Joy Mutant, but just a normal enemy. We started with less than 10 TP, which makes this dangerous. I want to use 2 TNT on this guy, because he's just that dangerous. Okay, there it is. Okay, Luke actually got lucky there because he did that move on Brett, who can't get permadeath. Because he's he's the protagonist. But he actually did that move, but we got lucky because he didn't do it on one of the other party members. And I actually have a rest item again, which is nice. So far we got a fan. Oh yeah, we need the fan as well, I forgot to say that. The fan, the cloth, and now we're gonna get some wood for the boat. And in this area I actually have to avoid some fights. There are 4 total fights. And there's one unavoidable one, which is right here. But otherwise, I'm just always going to take the route which avoids the fight. Come on. At least we got to hear me off this music. It's one upside of screwing up. Gonna use Joy. Again, this guy also has a permadeath move. I'm definitely gonna heal here. Because again, there's a pretty tough fight. Well, fight that can be very risky coming up. And I can't save before, because it's pain mode. And again, this is a pain mode exclusive fight. And he can inflict permadeath. He actually has a pretty high chance of that. And again, it's pretty unfortunate that we started with less than 10 TP on Birdie. Because otherwise, we probably could have finished him off one turn earlier. Okay, I think it's looking good. Yeah. Okay, so that's actually pretty lucky. We didn't get any permadeath. I don't think there's anyone left that can inflict that. These guys don't start a fight if you walk into them, but they explode, which deals a lot of damage. Oh, I actually walked into him. Yeah, this gets confusing. You can just run from these guys. I think it's fine. So, this is Buffalo, who has the tools that we need, but first he's going to fight us. And again, this is a fight with a lot of, like multiple enemies, which makes it dangerous. So we're going to use our last TNT here. And we're actually not gonna wait for the oil up, because we just want to get all of these guys out of the way as soon as possible. So, now that we beat him, he's disappointed in his teammates and joins us. Which means we get his tools. We actually don't need him as a party member, because we are now already coming up on the last part of this game. And we're not going to fight with our party anymore. All of the fights from now on are Brad solo. So we have all the parts for the boat. So we can drive to the island. And now you can enjoy this obnoxiously long scene of us driving there. These are the parts of the game where I think the developer was just messing with the players a little bit. Because there are actually quite a few parts of in the game where he likes to do that. At least the music is good.
Oh, so that's how you make a boat travel forward. You have someone like...
Yeah, that's how it works. You didn't know?
I learn something new every day, I've heard, but...
Yeah.
That's one way to go.
Okay. So we've arrived, but it turns out this guy actually wanted the girl for himself. So we're gonna have to kill him as well. Like everyone that we come across. Eight empty bottles, okay. So it turns out Brad's father is actually still alive. And he's with Buddy. Which obviously Brad can't accept. So again, we're gonna have to do some killing. This is gonna be pretty fast, by the way. I was afraid it was gonna go way worse, because in practice sometimes like I got just stuck for like 15 minutes at one of those RNG points. Like for example the one where I actually did die. But otherwise the RNG actually went really well for me. It's gonna be really safe. So Buddy stole our boat, so we're gonna have to improvise. And can annoy another slow drive to the next island.
This almost feel like it's supposed to be the ending. It's like
close.
briefly flowing forward with a silent music in the background.
Yeah. I mean, we are quite close to the ending. This is gonna be a lot underestimate, actually. Maybe I went overboard with that, but like I said, the RNG can go very wrong against you. So we don't have the bike anymore here, which is why we're just gonna have to walk.
You killed your father and abandoned your daughter. Good game, thanks for playing, lol.
Yeah, that's
Nice
the game.
chat.
It's pretty depressing. But it also has, like, it has a lot of dark humor, which I find really funny, but of course we don't get too much of that during the run.
Being a hard person is good.
What?
Just replying to the chat.
So we're picking up some more random rations just for safety. Don't really need to heal here, but might as well. Whoops. And so it turns out Buddy is a hostage again.
I mean, the chat can just throw any memes that they want. I don't really understand them anyway, so...
Yeah, definitely. Get him out there, man.
Flood the chat with memes. Okay, even the runner said that, so just go ahead.
I'm actually glad that I didn't lose my voice during this run, because I was really worried about that. Because when I woke up this morning I felt really sick. So we're just gonna pick up some diesel firebombs for the last fights. And we're picking up some more random rations, healing items. If this was like an actual attempt, I wouldn't be that safe at all. It's probably pretty overboard, but it's a marathon, so I don't wanna mess it up at the very end here. So, we finally find her again. But turns out instead of coming with us, he actually wants to go with them. And it turns out even our old party members disagree with us. And don't want the world just to end.
It's okay. So next time I'm going to punch you.
They are really weak for some reason. You actually end up with a lot more joy in a pain mode run than in a normal mode run, because you have some additional enemies that give you joy. And most of those are gonna go unused right now, just because I wanted to be safe. I could have used them at some point if I had gone a bit more, if some more things had gone wrong, I guess. Actually quite weak at this point, I think. Because Brett missed out on some XP. But that's not gonna make or break it, it's just might make it take a little longer. So, I'm using a move here that damages everyone and also inflicts fallen on them, so that they don't get to attack, because otherwise we have to wait through all of their attacks, which takes quite a long time. So, now we're coming up on the final fight of the game against Rando, who is actually pretty tough. And we're going to use the item that we picked up at the very beginning, almost at the very beginning if you remember, the dirty water, because it inflicts poison and Rando is very, very vulnerable to poison.
Dirty water.
Yeah.
Filthy water.
I'm gonna heal here.
Can we get some more dirty water, please?
In a second.
Thank you.
No, because this is actually also a fight that has multiple phases. And the poison drops off whenever he changes phase. This is the last phase.
That boss looks so happy. I mean, look at his face. He's all smiley and shit.
Actually, his face was cut off, but...
What?
More on that in a second, actually. So this was the final fight, but you still have to go through some cutscenes. Oh, what?
Oh, he has arrows in his head. Oh
Yeah.
my god.
Not just in his head. So, we finally find Buddy again. And we're gonna have to make one last choice. As Buddy, actually. Which is the only choice we make with someone else than Brad. Because with his dying breath, he asks for a hug.
Oh, gotta get those hugs.
No, we're not gonna get those hugs.
What? Rip hugs? Who
Because-
are you?
Not hugging him saves like a second, so come on.
Okay. We're skipping hugs, people.
Don't have time for that. Nope.
And what about her? She looks like half beaten up.
Yeah, she actually got her face cut up a little bit. You might have missed it.
Okay, that's...
So it's still not time. There's
Interesting.
still gonna be 2 more cutscenes. One of them is actually a pain mode exclusive.
So that's how you treat the only girl in the world. You beat her up, you cut off her face.
Wasn't me.
Not
wasn't
you, but
even
in
Brad.
general, they like
Yeah.
they misabuse the girl. That is the only one that can like make more people to the world. Like
Yeah.
that sounds about right.
That's why I said might not be a good thing that they found the girl at the beginning. Maybe they should have just let it all. You might have also noticed that these credits are somewhat weird.
Apparently, they don't want to save any children.
Not really. So. Now
That's a
Brad.
very fat thing.
Yeah, that is Brad. And he's actually turned into a joy mutant. So he's one of those mounds of
One
flesh.
of us.
Yeah.
One of us.
He's one of those things that we fought throughout the game. Because he took too much joy.
Can you have too much joy?
Look at him. Apparently.
Maybe he's very joyful right now. Like he.
I don't think so. Okay, and in a normal mode that would have been the ending, but because it's pain mode, there's going to be another last scene. And this is actually about Rando as a kid. Like, this is the past again. And Rando was some sort of karate trainer or something. And whoops, Rando was actually one of the students. This is Rando. This is when he got his face cut off. That's why he looks like that in the end. And he actually did get his face cut off by the guy that
But
cut
now
our
he
arm
looks
off.
actually normal again. What happened?
This is the past. And that boy that's on the ground there, that's actually the last boss we just fought. And that's why he looks like that. So yeah, pretty dark game. Time is coming up, by the way. Time. Yeah, okay, that's way underestimate. I mean, most of the RNG went my way. I died once, but like, I expected worse. And luckily I didn't choke. This was my first marathon run, so pretty happy about that. So yeah, I think I'm done.
Well, since we are a little bit ahead now, because the estimate was what it 50 minutes, and we got to like 20. Yeah, but we got to 20, right? Something like that.
125.
Yeah, 25 even. And the next game is going to be Super Mario World by Akisto. So we have a little time to fill in between this gap, I guess. I can talk a little bit of our charity that is called Save the Children, which is an organization that works all over the globe, helping people and children in need with healthcare, education, things that is in dire need in different places of the world. If you want to help with this and support us in our charity, feel free to do so. The easiest way to do that is to, of course, donate to the channel. You can, of course, also tweet about the channel if you want more to reach out to us or find us in general. You can. There's so many ways that you can support us, basically. Just remember that if you donate, you have to use #stream2 so we know that it's for this channel. Because we share the donation page together with the other stream. So it makes it easier for us to know that it's for this stream that you're donating towards. Also, if you have any questions or anything, feel free to do so through the chat. We have done that several times before. It's just time filler, so bring those questions and I will answer them the best as I can. I'm not gonna tell you that I wasn't question on the quiz. But you're gonna get the answer when I post the results anyway. At the moment, no, I'm not single. Well, it's true. Should I lie? Oh, I'm very much single. Please join my Twitch and just follow me because I'm a girl. Please do that. Okay. My Twitch is I don't give up. Favorite animal? Oh. Those are so difficult because there's so many. But unicorn is not really... it's an animal, but it's a fantasy animal. And if it's fantasy animal, it's unicorn or dragon because those are like tie. But if it's normal animals... Huh? Otters? Okay, we got an otter from the channel. Well, apparently Giga Goon's gonna spoil it for you. Speaking of that, you said that you would like to see someone speedrun No Man's Sky. I would actually like to see a few speedruns myself of games that is really interesting to me, but I've never seen. I would definitely like to see a speedrun of The Lost Vikings. It's a bit... We're talking about really old retro games here. The Lost Vikings I would like to see with full 4 team without any team member deaths, because that is really... I mean, for people that have played The Lost Vikings, you know that if any of the Vikings die, it makes the game a lot harder. And I also would like to see Silver Surfer as a speedrun because it's supposed to be one of the hardest games ever played on NES. So that would be really interesting to see a run from that. And I also would like to see Kid Icarus. It's all old retro games, but it's really interesting games in general. Yeah, it's me and my Silver Surfer. If I even speedrun myself, I want to find a game that I will enjoy to speedrun. Back in the day, like a few years ago, I was practicing Alice Madness Returns, and I managed to learn basically all of the chapters except the last one, and then I was like, didn't feel like I was good enough, so I stopped. And after that, I wouldn't say I took a break, but I still tried to find something that was me. And then I tried Chrono Trigger, but that was a little bit too RNG manipulation heavy for someone that is new to speedrunning, so that was very difficult for me to learn. And after that, I tried to practice in Nocturne for Shin Megami Tensei, which I'm still practicing on. So that is what I am at the moment when it comes to speedrunning in games. The only sad part with, even if I learn Nocturne, it will most likely not be put on any of the ESA marathons because it's very long. Like the world record right now on the category that I'm learning is 13 hours and 12 minutes, something like that, I think. And my first goal is to reach 18 hours and from then move downwards. Well, it's something. If you find that enjoyable, I see no reason why not trying. But there's so many reasons why I want to learn a game. Like in general, I've been here from every ESA starting 2012, and every time I've been here, I've been on the sideline watching other people, and I see how much fun they have on stream playing games that they have really put their own time and effort in, and I would like to experience that myself because it seems like a very enjoyable thing to do. But also because I've been playing games ever since I was little. Back in the day when we had our old Nintendo NES 8-bit console and forward. So I'm a very old school gamer person. I've played most of the games at least once. Also, speaking of which, we still have a lot of goals and bid wars that you can bid towards. All the things of that is in the information on the website. For example, we have a Final Fantasy, 13, that is going to be on stream too, as in this stream. Which it is supposed to be actually, oh my god, it's supposed to be blindfolded. Please get some bids into that. Yeah, beat Power Cloud blindfold, but still, I mean, blindfolded on ESA, that is really high for me. We are currently at 380 of 1,000 on that goal, so please chip in those monies for that. I didn't get my shirtless stream, so I can at least get my blindfold, right? Please? Well, I guess retro is a matter of perspective, though. It depends on when you were born and everything. Like, for some retros are NES consoles, for some retros are like really old PC games. I think that is a very fluent one. Let's see here. We have also other upcoming goals. For example, Forced is, I think it's a bid war, right? Yeah, Forced Steam Pictures is a bid war with. Oh, you.
Hello, let me explain this a bit better. For Force, there are two bid wars. One of them is to choose the name for it's a co-op one, and a 4-player co-op one. It's a Steam game, so you can choose their Steam names or Steam pictures that appear within the game. You can specify whatever in there, I assume to some sort of extent, but yeah, you can say, hey, this is what I want to picture of the name. There's 4 names right now, so there's where we pick. They only have $1 each so far, so you could easily get into that. And I wish I could read how much the Slam Van for Grand Theft Auto San Andreas has as the picture, but whoever put the URL in it, put a really long URL so I can't actually see on our tracker how much they've actually donated, but it's probably like $10. I'm pretty sure that was lots of S. Speaking of Grand Theft Auto, coming up later today, we have a history of the Vice City speedrun and a glitch showcase in a few runs' time. Well, that's not for like another. I think it's like 5 or 6 o'clock. It's it's even later than that. It's local time, nearly 8 o'clock for us. So in about just under 5 hours. I'm looking forward to that one.
Speaking of games that we're looking forward, since I was talking on the host station this past midnight during the Resident Evil 7 when I was hosting that, we were talking during the interview about Silent Hill in general, and I was actually pleasantly surprised to know that Silent Hill is also going to be on stream too later today, so I'm really excited to see that. I mean, that is good old games that is really drawn to my heart. So make sure to also keep an eye out for that one.
Also, something else I just remembered. Later up, we have a Postal 2 run by Nord, and we're going to have devs on call for that one. So we have dev commentary. I'm kind of looking forward to that one.
Also remember that we are still having our own actually donation goal. Yeah, either way, thank you, Sodom, for interrupting me consistently. We have our own goal for donations in general for the entire event, which is 50,000. We are currently at 38. So remember that we had this deal with, I don't remember exactly who it was, that for every $1 they will match it. So even if it says 76,000 right now, our own donations has reached up to 38,000. So please think of that and get them in general. If there's anything that you want to donate for, if there's anything that you want to bid for, if you just want to help the charity in any case or way, feel free to do so. It's highly appreciated. Thank you so much.
A light that no one can see. Dust is in burst of iridescent breeze. Never seen the sky so starry. I can see the world so clearly. Didn't think that I'd uncover another world that's undiscovered. Now you wandered into this place, realize it's my secret space.
By the way, also please remember that if you want to donate to the second stream, use hashtag stream2 in the text, in the comment, so we know it's for this one, because since we need to keep them separate from the other stream, so we know it's for this one actually. What I've heard is that they actually go towards the charity.
Really? Yeah, I'm...
No.
Oh,
We're on
okay.
camera, the run hasn't started yet.
Alright. What's up, people? This is Super Mario World 96 Exit.
I'm Akisto, the runner.
I'm Dutch J.
And I'm Pack.
They're gonna commentate my run.
Alright, let's get this thing going.
Who does the countdown? Sure.
3, 2, 1,
Go!